Mr. Wagner, Sydney, Mrs. Cannell, those were all beautiful speeches and they're going to be really hard to follow, but I'm going to try my best. But first, let me take a selfie. Thank you. Okay. Alright. To quote Emmy Edwards in my award-winning show, "Good morning, Avon. It is a tremendous honor to be speaking with you all on this beautiful morning in the gym. Thank you to the family, friends, administration, Board of Education members, faculty, and staff for being here today. Of course, we can't forget the stars of this program, the reason we're all here today, some calling this group the best to ever grace Avon's halls, the graduating class of 2023. Now, as I assume many little girls did, I would often lay awake dreaming of what I would say in my valedictorian address. I'm not even joking. I remember my first commencement, my cousins, and as I watched the valedictorian give a speech, my 5th grade self really started to brainstorm. My speech would be different. It would not be boring or emotional. Instead, it would be hilarious. A 10-minute stand-up comedy set, full of improv, and, if approved, a roast. And this was my plan from 5th grade to around 3 weeks ago when I spoke with my old buddy, Mr. Wagner. I asked him for advice on my speech. In all honesty, out of courtesy, because, like I've said, I've already had a plan since middle school, and I didn't know if Mr. Wagner would truly understand my comedic genius. But he gave me advice. Don't make the speech all about yourself or your friends. Of course not, I said, and I thanked him. But I thought to myself, what? How did he know that making a speech all about me was my plan? I was crushed. In a matter of seconds, the idea I had for years was ruined. I had to start thinking of another option. It was then I realized, however, that I am not the same girl I was in the 5th grade. Sure, not much has changed. I still have an obnoxious laugh, and I may talk a little too much, but I've grown up and matured. So to talk about only myself in my speech didn't make sense anymore. Because the truth is that getting to this podium didn't really start with me at all. It began with my parents, who have supported me since day one. I am forever grateful for their constant encouragement and love. They're not perfect, of course. Their biggest flaw being that they gave me way too much confidence, as you can probably tell. I want to thank the rest of my family, too. Okay, I want to thank the rest of my family too. My brother, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins. And not to be sappy, but I really love them all so much, and I'm so lucky to have them. My fellow graduates, I know that your families have also meant so much to you, and they have played a huge role in your success. And I know that we would not be here without our teachers, who have inspired us in so many different ways and made school so enjoyable. From Mr. Cannell's soulful ballads at Tales and Tea Leaves, to Mr. Julian's Creative Writing Wednesdays, and our coaches that have pushed us to do our best, and throughout our 4 years here have not only led us to numerous Section 5 titles, but taught us the important life skills of sportsmanship and teamwork. The Avon community, for making Avon the best possible place to grow up. And of course, I cannot be here without some of my biggest influences, my peers. Every day, I have looked forward to and loved going to school, and I credit this to my class right here. From primary school to now, from the mundane classes to the exciting times of field trips, spirit weeks, gangrene, and dances, I am so grateful to have such an incredible class. It has been the greatest pleasure growing up with you all. Lastly, I must thank Avon, this school, for giving me my best friends for the last 13 years. You guys know who you are, and I cannot thank you enough for putting up with me and always supporting me. Sigh, I'm going to miss you all so much next year. The takeaway from this is that nobody is successful solely on their own, and that we all have so many people to thank as we get our diplomas today. So, I guess this is the time where I'm supposed to say something inspiring that everyone will remember for the rest of their lives. But guys, don't get your hopes up. When trying to think of something I was qualified to give advice on, one idea kept popping into my head: the future. I think it's safe to say that everyone here has felt the pressure of deciding our plans as we enter young adulthood and have endured these questions. What are your plans next year? What college are you going to? What job do you want? And what are you going to do with that degree? And these are all incredibly hard questions to answer, no matter your circumstance. I've known I would be attending Cornell since December, but every time someone asks me my major, I pause. I'm going undecided, I say, but I feel embarrassed that as a senior, I do not know what I want to do for the rest of my life. There is so much pressure to know exactly what your future should be, and there is so much pressure to achieve and be successful. When people ask for my future plans, what I'd really like to say is this: I have no idea, and please, no further questions. What I really want, for me and for all of us, is to measure our successes not by awards or achievements, but by the joy we experience, the relationships we build, the impact we have, and the laughs we are able to share. I've been lucky enough to find all of this during my time at Avon, so I'd like to also stress the importance of living in the moment. I mean, can you believe that we're really graduating? How exciting is this, right here, right now, in this gym? This is a moment we have been looking forward to since kindergarten, and although it was inevitable, it's hard to believe it's really here. So to wrap up my speech, I would like to quote Andy Bernard, a fictional Cornell graduate from the television show The Office. He said, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you actually left them." Class of 2023, I am so glad we were able to share these good old days together. We will remember them forever. Congratulations, and I will perhaps be the last valedictorian to say the following two words that we have grown up with: Go Braves!